Hello, and thanks everybody so much for joining me today. I'm Jeff Bird with Jeffrey Bird Coaching, and this is the Encouragement Corner. And today I just want to talk about something that, wow, that I'm coming to see, and it's putting a lot of pieces together. It's not something I've thought about a lot in the past. It's something I actually thought didn't apply to me, and now I'm realizing, oh my gosh, it's defined everything. It's informed everything in my life. And that is, I would like to talk specifically about attachment style and the way it applies to religion. And I want to talk especially about the anxious attachment style. Now, you may know there are four attachment styles. There are the balanced attachment style, the anxious attachment style, the avoidant attachment style, and the disorganized attachment style. But like I said, I'm going to speak specifically about the second one because that's what speaks to me the most. So I want to talk about this anxious attachment style. So, how do we form an anxious attachment style? Well, I'm going to tell you my story because that's the one I know the best. So, an anxious attachment style comes when you grow up in an environment that you just don't feel at peace in, connected in, accepted in. Uh, and my dad, many of you know him, and in public always, and 95% of the time in private, he was a really great guy, meant really well, had great intentions, was trying to help and be the right thing and do the right thing. But the other 5 to 10% of the time, he really wasn't. And he could be extremely mean. He was never physically abusive, but he could be physically mean and emotionally abusive, just extremely negative and degrading and minimizing and just really not a great guy to be around, really hurtful. Now, that was not, again, much of the time, but I tell you what, most of the time, many of the times, anyways, I won't say most, but many of the times that I remember were from those episodes. It only took a few of them to make a lasting impression to be like, oh wow, that's the actual way that he feels. The rest of it is just a facade. This is who we're really dealing with. Now later in life that changed. And of course, he died when I was 22. And of course, the male brain isn't developed until 28. So my brain hadn't even fully developed when he was gone. But I could see the changes in him later in life. He really did become a much more quiet spirited, peaceful person. But by that time, a lot of seeds had been planted, and it causes anxiety. If you have an anxious attachment style, that means that the people who are closest to you in your family, in your friends, you're just not that comfortable around. You don't exactly know what to expect, and you're not able to just be at peace there because it's not an environment where you really feel at peace, where you really feel peace. It's just there's anxiety is throughout all of it. Now, what I want to do is take that paradigm and transfer it over to religion. So I had this eye-opening experience where I was like, "Oh my gosh, God!" It's almost like an NDE or someone who has a near-death experience. It's like, wow, they just see like this tangible light, and they say it's like brighter than the sun, but it's super beautiful and peaceful to look at, unlike the sun, which will kill your eyes. um, and they say there's just this love that just permeates and envelops them, and they know that they came from that, and that's their destiny. That's what they were always meant for. So I had kind of this experience where that sort of was the case, and so then I got back involved in a church because I didn't know what else to do. I figured, well, maybe they knew this all along, and I had just missed it somehow. No, that wasn't the case. But I got back in, and there were all these things to do. There's like 8 billion people, almost 8 billion people that needed me. And wow, so glad you're here. There's almost 8 billion people that need your help. That's what it felt like. And even when I look around today, there's people that I love and they are just doing. It's the reason that, I don't know if you remember back in the day, there was a bumper sticker that said, "Look busy, Jesus is coming." And it's like, that's exactly it. It's like, because why do we do that? Why are we busy beyond what's good for us and genuinely helpful to other people? Just because we see a need, we got to go run to meet the need. Well, probably we have a fixer personality. That's how we respond to anxiety and to stress and to instabilities, by trying to fix things. And we can actually, this is what I did, got this mentality that, wow, I'm just the fixer. I'm the one with all the answers. And wow, that's really not true a lot of the time. And this anxiety breeds. It's like, especially if part of your anxiety, like my anxiety, at home, was because I never felt like I did enough. I never felt like I was good enough to measure up to what Dad truly expected of himself too. I realize that now. He expected it of himself. That's why he expected it so much from me in times, and of my mom, who came with all of these issues. uh she just wasn't cared for. She was the youngest of 9 children. The 10th one died at birth. And when she came along, her dad was gone working as a steel worker. Her mom was just consumed with personal sickness and also stress over the older kids and stuff. And so there was like nothing emotionally for my mom left. I mean, she was just kind of thrown to the side a little bit. And so she always wanted something to cling on to and to hold on to. And so she thought, as an only child, that I was going to be able to meet all that. And that was just such a burden. And so it was like, no, what, just one more thing is just, it's just more than I can do. It's not meant to me. I'm not the parent to her, to the parent. And I understand why she was that way now. And as a friend of mine, Sadiqa Kebi in Dubai, says, she says that forgiveness is dependent on understanding. When you understand where somebody really was, you can forgive their actions even if they were wrong. But what happened to me, this is the point I'm trying to get to, is that so in the religious context, that's how I related to God. Uh, it was kind of like C.S. Lewis said in Pilgrim's Regress, and this was like his perception of the clergy, of what the clergy said to him as a little kid. And they said, excuse me, that it was so of God, that it was so good and kind and loving of him to let us live here in the first place, but he would certainly torture us to death the moment he had the slightest pretext. And that's what it felt like. It was neurotic from the word go. It was like, yes, he's so wonderful and kind and loving and beautiful and benevolent and gave himself for me, became a person. This God, quantum physicists say that light is a wave and a particle. And so there's this wave of God, this love, this light, this beauty, that everything in the universe and beyond, universe came from, and we came from, and it's all in love. He can't be anything other than love. And that funneled down and became a person, a particle, particulate matter, human being in Jesus, so that he could give himself for us. And I'll get more to that in just a second. But so it was a very, very anxious time, an anxiety-filled time. And finally, after 13 years of trying to do enough to stay in this loving space and never wondering if I had done enough and just wondering when the other shoe was going to fall and just this constant fear and anxiety surrounding that, then I was just done. And I was like, I have failed at this too, like I failed at everything else, or at least I thought. And I thought, I'm done. And so it was in that season that God started being able to get my heart back and go, and really say, I have loved you. I have always loved you. I only am love. That is your future. That is your destiny. I am not finding fault. That is not me. So what I'm beginning to see is that, okay, here was this one world. Okay, here was this one world with me on it, and it was characterized by fear, by anxiety, by these negative messages that came to me that I believed and ran with, and it characterized my relationship to God, who is love, who is light, from whom I'm made and to whom I'm going back and going to live with forever. It characterized that, and it brought an anxiety and a fear. And out of that anxiety and fear, to have that constant love, it created all sorts of other problems, wrong relationships, wrong addictions, just wanting to escape from that, anything to escape to something that felt a little bit better, even if in doing so, that set me up for a lot of other difficulties, which it did. Okay, so does that make sense? We got this world here. This is just a broken, well, we know we live in a broken world. It's obvious today. Plus, my world was broken. And that's the identity I had. My identity was solely rooted in that world. And what I understand now is that the reason God became a person was to die and take with him that whole identity, that whole world. He said, you've died to that, and now your life is hidden in me. You only have a life in me. You're in this completely different world now. This world that exists beyond time, beyond eternity, and forever. You're in this world where you are complete in me. Colossians 2:10 says that you are complete in him, talking about Jesus, who is the head over all rule and authority. In other words, there is no other authority to come in and make you feel not enough, make you feel not loved, make you feel not complete. All of that, all of those feelings came from this world's identity. And he's saying, you've died to that. Just rub that across your mind, rub it across your mind, rub it across your mind. Teach yourself that. Meditate on that. Think on that. Marinate that. Pray for greater illumination on that you've died to this life that you had in this world as this person. You've died to that, and now you're alive in this person, in this world where I love you, where I've always loved you, where I've forgiven you of everything. All that you were in this world, all the lies that came to you, all the ways it made you feel, all the things you thought were the truth because of that, and then all the things you did to try to fix that. If it was trying to be the highest performer, or trying to escape things, or trying to be smarter than everybody else, which I did for a long time, and however you responded to that, whatever love you tried to get from other people, it's like you've died to that, and now you're alive in this world. That world's gone. This world has come, and you're in this world. You're alive in this world that's only light and love and joy. Now, we still live in this world. We're still in the physical body in this world, so we're still prone to those emotions and things that we have. But God is working tirelessly to get us out of that and to cause us to identify, to align with what he declares to be true of us in this world. It's a new life. That's why it's called a rebirth. You're born again. I hope that makes sense now. It's really resonating here. You died to this one, and you were born into this one. That's why it says born again. Right? It's because, and it doesn't have anything to do with religion. It doesn't have anything to do with your striving. It doesn't have anything to do with trying to do enough for God to be happy with you and like you, trying to be moral enough or giving enough or generous enough or dedicated enough or whatever. Those things can be good if they're coming from this world, from that identity. Because of this, my identity in this world, I do things. I don't do certain things. I just want to do things that align with my life in this world, that I love. Not because I'm trying to strive like crazy to get to love and to get to light and to get to peace, right? But because God's already given that in Christ. So that's how now that I'm realizing this, I'm really trying to learn all I can about this, the attachment styles, because I see, as I look around, I see that, oh my gosh, there are so many people who are mean so well or trying so hard, but they're trapped in this. They're trapped in that identity. And all of their niceness, their goodness, their attempts at help come from the need to do that because they're really trying to get somewhere through that. It's actually self-serving, even though it looks like it's very wonderful and very benevolent. Only things that align with this world, this identity, are really, truly good and truly benevolent and truly loving. To say, hey, you've died to this world. It's not striving to get better in this world under this identity. It's adopting a new identity and a new life. So, boy, I hope that this resonates with you. I hope that this is helpful, because I tell you, it's been decades of learning this for me personally, and I'm still learning it. And my desire is now to grow with people who get this. Not people who are striving. There's plenty of those all over, everywhere, in all kinds of churches. Not that they're all bad, but it's like a whole lot of that is coming from this kind of striving. It's like we get this idea of God loving us and forgiving us, and we never even delve into this world, into how we thought about those things before. We just try to get busy, doing things, trying to convince everybody else we're right, instead of understanding something that can really help another person and set them free. So I hope that this is helpful to you. If you want to discuss this at all, please drop me a line. I would love to talk to you about this and what it looks like and what it means and its application, and the fact that I just want to say this in closing, that God is only love. I created I created a hell for myself based on my thoughts and my actions, the things I believed. That created hell. God didn't create hell to send me to. He only creates the good to bring me to. I create my own hell by believing all the lies of my judge, my accuser, who tells me I'm not enough, not good enough, got to work harder, got to try harder. That created hell for me. And now God is bringing me out of that, like He is all of us, into something that's loving, that's beautiful, that's light, that's life, that's just completely belonging and acceptance. And so, again, drop me a line if you want to talk about this anymore. And I'll probably be, my guess is I'll be talking about this in future episodes too, because there's more attachment styles. Mine's that's just how the anxious attachment style worked for me. So hope this is helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you will. I would appreciate that. That always helps me to do more things like this. So thank you so much, and hope you have a great day. Talk to you next time. And until then, God bless you and Merry Christmas.